Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Julius DeBerry at Majestic Studios, and I got another great video today with a topic that you really don't hear a lot of people talking about. Feature on a lot of keyboards that people aren't using, or if they are using it, you really don't hear people talking about it that much. Today we're going to talk about these additional outputs. You know, you have the main outputs on the back of the keyboard, your main left, your main right, and even your headphone output. But one of the things we never really use or talk about is those additional outputs. And today I'm going to show you guys how you can use those additional outputs to your benefit. You can use it to run stuff to an external mixer, or to use the mixer for faders in your combination mode for your keyboards that don't have faders. You can use it to send separate signals of the things coming from your keyboard to the front of house engineer. And you can even use it to send a metronome or a click track to your drummer. So let's just jump right into that, and hope you guys like it. Don't forget, if you do like the video, if you're learning stuff, don't forget to like and subscribe and to share the videos. That stuff helps the channel out quite a bit and encourages me and gives me the feedback that I need to continue to make videos with content like this for you guys. So let's just jump right in. All right, so just in case you guys don't know how to do this or don't know about them, I have already taken the liberty to, so we didn't take a lot of time during the video, I plugged up the cables on the back using the main left and right, and then the additional outputs, the balanced outs 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I've connected those to channels 11 and 12, 13 and 14, and 15 and 16 on the Korg MW SoundLink mixer. This is the MW-2408, and we have the main left and right channels connected to inputs 11 and 12, and then we have the additional outputs 1 and 2 connected to 13 and 14, and then additional outputs 3 and 4 connected to channels 15 and 16. I've also already made a custom combi with just a piano, a pad, and a string sound, and then I added drums just to kind of show you guys how that would work if you had a drum pattern playing. What you want to do if you want to route these sounds, you're going to go into the iFX section of the keyboard. So to do that, you're going to go to, we're in combi mode right now. We're going to go to page, and then we're going to go to iFX. From this iFX screen, you can route signals through the various effects that are in your keyboard, but you can also route the sounds from those effects to those additional outputs on the back, or if you want to bypass the effects altogether, you can route them directly out of the keyboard without going through the effects unit at all. So I'm going to show you both ways. All right, so in this sound here, I did not route any effects. There are no effects on this sound that I made. It's just a standard piano sound. And there's a pad in there as well. Just to let you guys hear the individual sound. So we have the piano, we have the pad, and we have the strings. All right, so we're going to go to page, we're going to go to iFX. Now right here across this top row where it says LR, right now all of the sounds are being routed out of the left and right, and that's what you would generally have routed as your default setting for most of the sounds on your keyboard. If you want anything differently, you're going to have to go ahead and program it yourself. So we're going to leave the piano on the main left and right. All right, so you just click that here, and you just select on the jog wheel where you want it routed. This is the same way that we learned in our taking the haze off the iFX video, how to route effects in our keyboard in the Nautilus. So instead of choosing L and R, or instead of choosing iFX 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, we're going to leave the piano on L and R. Now for the pad sound, we're going to route that to, you can double click it, or you can just use the jog wheel to select. We're going to click it so you guys can see what the choices are, but you can send it to any of the iFX that you have routed, or once you get here, it says 1, 2, 3, 4. Now what that does is you can send that one sound out of output, the additional, not the LR, but the additional output 1, additional output 2, additional output 3, or additional output 4. But if you have a stereo sound, that you would use that if there was a mono sound, or if it didn't matter if you were mono or stereo. But if you want to send a stereo sound out, you're needing to select number 1 and 2 or 3 and 4. So I'm going to select 1 and 2. And so now if I play the keyboard, I'm going to turn these channels down on the mixer. I'm going to actually turn all of them down. So right now we can't hear anything. Okay. And I'm going to go on the string sound, which is on track 3, and I'm going to select that one to go out of outputs 3 and 4. All right. So we can't hear anything right now. But if you look at the mixer, you see these 3 channels, 11 and 12, 13 and 14, and 15 and 16 are all lighting up green because there's signal being sent to them. So if I turn channel 11 and 12 up, we should just hear the piano. All right. And then if we go to 13 and 14, now that pad sound is going to come in. And then 15 and 16 will allow the string sound to come in. All right, so just that simple, we were able to route sounds bypassing any effects and routing them to our external outputs, which in turn sends the sounds to our external mixer. So the only difference would be if we had effects in the sound, how will we route those out now? So let's go to, let's see, let's just add some effects. Okay, so now we've got four effects that are in the signal, in the signal path. We can turn them on. Now, of course, we can't hear them yet because nothing is being routed to them. So let's say our piano, let's say we're going to route that to effects 1, which is a rotary speaker. Let's go just hear the piano all in. So you can hear that piano going into that rotary speaker. We're going to send the strings into the limiter phaser. So that would be IFX2. So let's listen to the strings now. Oh, we can't hear it because it hasn't been routed. Now, the only reason we were able to hear that initial IFX1 is because I think IFX1 is automatically routed to the left and right outputs, but we'll check that and see. And then we'll take the strings and we'll route that to the IFX3. So of course we're not getting any sound except for that piano. So now what we need to do, we're going to go right here to the IFX 1 through 12. The insert effects tab. Yep, so everything right now is going out of L and R, and you can see that right here in the bus select. Okay, so this bus select is where each effect comes into it's inserted, the sound is inserted, it runs through this chain, and you can tell it, okay, do I want to chain insert effect 1 to number 2, or do I want to send it? You can send the insert effect to any one of the effects to allow some complex or custom routing that you want to do as far as your effects chain is concerned. After you select where you want it to go, you will push the chain button, and now you see the arrow changes and it says insert effect 1 instead of going out here. See what it does, the insert effect is inserted. It hits this place, it tells you, do you want to chain it to another effect? If you don't have this box selected, then that arrow keeps going straight. It goes through a panning, if you want to pan left or right, and then it hits the bus select. And that's the bus where you determine what output you want it to go out of when it leaves the keyboard. So if you were to cut this chain though, or insert this chain, it now routes it through the first insert effect, and then it routes it to effect number 2. And now that you can't select where it's going in insert effect 1 anymore because that output was routed to the next insert effect. So that next insert effect will determine where we're going to send it. So let's take this chain off. Hope that makes sense. I'm going to say it one more time. The chain option allows the signal to be rerouted to another eye effect. And you change that eye effect that you want it to go to right here in this column right here where it says chain 2. Right now it says eye effects 2. So if we push the chain button, it sends that signal, you can see, to eye effects 2. Just as simple, we can chain it to eye effects 10, and look what it does. It drops that arrow all the way down. That effect goes through effect 1, then it drops all the way down, and it goes into insert effect 10. Okay, so we're going to take that chain off again because we don't want to chain it anywhere. All right, and if you see right here on bus select, we would now select, we want that piano coming through the rotor speaker. We want to go to L and R. We're just going to leave the piano on L and R like we have been doing, the main left and right. Okay, now the second effect, the limiter phaser, which is the one that we put the pad on, we're going to send that on the bus select. We're going to send that to number 1 and 2, and then we're going to send the pad sound that's on the multi-tap, chorus, and delay. We're going to send that out to 3 and 4. So now, once again, we should have all of our sounds on different faders, and they're being run through effects this time. So let's see. 11 and 12 should be the piano going through that organ sim. Yep. And then we have the pad going through the limiter phaser. And then we have our strings going through the multi-tap delay. Don't hear anything. Let's see. Multi-tap. Let's select a different effect. Maybe something. Let's see. So now we have it on the stereo tremolo, and the stereo phaser and tremolo. You can hear that. So now we have the piano on the fader. Alright, so just that easy, we have routed our sounds internally out of the additional outputs into a mixer. We've done it independent of eye effects, and we've done it with eye effects. And just the same as we did that, let's just say we want to take our, we're going to go back and we're going to change the pad to make it go out of the same one as the string, so we can use outputs 3 and 4 for our drums. So just the same way as we did the other sounds, we're going to go to routing, and track 4 is where our drums are. We're going to, now right here with the drums is something unique because you can use whatever the drum kit itself is defaulted to in your global settings, and that's something that I'll have to show you a little later on because it's a different kind of digging as far as this video is concerned. But what you want to do if you want to control where it's being sent and not have it default to the same place as the drum kit in your global settings, you're going to uncheck this box, and now you have the option to send it wherever you want to send it. We're going to do it the same way we did the others. I'm going to send it out of 3 and 4. And now when we turn our drum track on, let's see. The drums are playing, and they're on this fader right here. And just that easy, you've got sounds routing out of your keyboard through those additional outs that you can take advantage of. You can use them to send your sound man if you have a front of house guy or somebody that handles your sounds, handles your keyboard outputs. You can send him separate signals depending if the sounds that you're using need different kind of treatments as far as EQ or compression. You don't have to put everything and keep it on one track. Or Like I said, if you want to just send it out so you have a little bit more control, the Nautilus doesn't have faders. If you don't have a Nano control, like I showed you in one of the other videos, I'll link to that as well. In this top corner here, maybe it's this one of the top corners. If you don't have a Nano control, as far as controlling your sounds with faders, but you want to have some control over your layers, you can use those outputs to send the individual tracks to a mixer, and then you can use those faders on the mixer to control what you need.